Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Diablo 3. My name is Wilfred. So my wife and I have done some grid riff last night, grid GR100 on the both of us. So it is an unedited version of the entire run rather than just focusing on some of the exciting moments of the Elite, which I often do in my video channel. Do a complete run on how we really do it. So the first clip is really interesting because you got to see all the mechanic of the, well, almost all the mechanic of the season itself, which is the Eternal Conflict. You can see the various kind of stacks that build up, and some of this mechanic like this right now is all frozen at the stat of 30. So I'll recap on those stats in just a moment. And another one is that we've got another run, the second run. We couldn't really chain up all the stats to spawn the angels, but we managed to beat our timing as well, so I thought it would be quite interesting to show you that run as well. So two clips back to back each other. I hope you enjoy it. And also I intend to build a guide or just do a video on how I gear up my the new Crusader set, which is the Aegis of Valor. And so that video upcoming is going to be a little bit dry, just talking about the stats and mechanic and so on. But this video is to really see the Aegis of Valor in action. So that is the second objective of this video. Now you can see all this energy twister that come up that spawn off the stats 100. But just to recap on the various kind of stats that you see. And when you get a stat 15, you can see Angry Chicken coming out from the ground. Not really that, you can't really spot it unless you are really paying a lot of close attention to it, but you do see it sometimes. Then 30, of course, is the Nova that you've seen just now. You can't miss it because everything just frozen and stop kind of like attacking you, which is very useful at the beginning of GR as well. 50 stat, you can see corpse, falling from the sky. That one is also very visible. 100 stat is the twister, which I like it the most because it's just so so big, and you can see it there. The Geyser is at 150. Now I was told that Geyser is pretty powerful if you spawn it at the right time. So I mean, there's a little bit of mechanic to it. You try not to kill the elite. You try to kill small things and try to spawn the Geyser. Some people do that too at a very high rate. So Geyser is a nice, and some would just do a reset of the stats after the Geyser to just to get all this mechanic again. But onto 200 and the 300 is the fire that you will see. 400 is the meteor. 500 is the angel that you see towards the end of the video. So yeah, it is very, very fun with all the things coming out, mechanic, and some of the really good player can time their counts to spawn at the right moment to make your GR really powerful. So yeah, so that is a part of it. By the way, just you saw the 300, which is the some of the fire that come out. I think I don't know whether I caught that or not, but yeah, it's kind of fun, the whole mechanic there. All right, so that is the first clip, and we did quite well. And then the second clip, we beat our timing on that one, so that is cool. Now just a little bit on the Aegis of Valor. So this season 19, Blizzard has come up with two new sets for the classes. One is for the Crusader, which is the Aegis of Valor. Another one is for the Monk, which is the Pattern of Justice Judgment. Right. So I haven't really tried the Monk one yet, and I intend to either this season or next season because it looks really fun and powerful as well. Probably not as powerful as the Crusader, but sometimes you play it for the mechanic rather than just going for a number itself. But I've played a lot of classes and built in Diablo. I think Aegis of Valor is amongst one of my favorite ones, together with the Witch Doctor, kind of like Jade Harvester kind of set. I think both are very nice because why? The reason why is that it is very durable. Both build like the Witch Doctor build, Jade Harvester, as well as this Aegis of Valor. Both are very, very durable. But yet it requires you to be a little bit good in your timing. So I'm going to explain that in a little bit what I mean by that. But timing is so important, and in this kind of map and so on, and it make it more fun. So some like a glass cannon kind of build like Necromancer. Some like the just pure kind of like a durable and just you don't need to think too much. Just click all the button available like Condemn, Crusader, or maybe the whirlwind ran kind of like a barbarian. But some builds are pretty simple to play. Nothing against them. It's just one of the mechanic. Some are pretty complex, like the Archon. I thought the Wizard Archon is quite complex. I mean, the mechanics is quite complex in some sense. So it really depends on what you want to do. But for Aegis or Valor, by the way, all the angels are there, and I think they got one shot by the they don't by the Guardian. Sometimes they are not that durable, by the way, the angels, but it is what it is. All right. So now the timing wise is very important for the Aegis of Valor. First of all, the second button you see on the hotbar is the champion. You have to keep the champion on at all time if possible. Because I'm equipping a stone gauntlet, will slow you down tremendously if neither your champion is on or your iron skin. So you have to pop it up really often. In a map that is quite like a lot of mob density and a lot of hitting rather than walking, it's pretty easy to keep that 100% on. And you see it later. You can see that I can manage to keep rather well. But there are other things that you can do as well, which is the Law of Valor as well as Iron Skin. Now, Law of Valor itself is just increased attack speed, I believe. But the main thing about it is that the rune I use has a cost reduction of 50%, and that will add on to your overall defense of the character because you're using the Clapham Cream, some kind of belt or set itself. So I usually pop the Valor quite often, but I will not pop it to sacrifice the champion. If I feel that there's not enough mob density around, and there are things that I would not quite pop if that's the case. Now the Iron Skin is important as well. I use it if there's a gap between the champion popping, meaning that the cooldown, I'm unable to keep it 100% uptime for the champion because of the mob. The mob around me, or it's just overall a lot of traveling, not enough mobs and not enough things to hit. Then I would use the I would reserve the Iron Skin to basically in between those moments whereby I can't get the champion up at all time. But the Iron Skin is also good because when you get attacked, the rune I've got, I get to pass through enemy unhindered. So it helped me to get around some of the tougher situation and so on. So yeah, I mean, I do use that, but the timing is really important on when to pop certain thing. Now, Shield Glaze, which is the button number 1 there, is a very important feature, but I use it to really make it count because of my the bracer that I use. It rewards enemy that are being immobilized, and when I hit it with the Heaven's Fury, which is the main kind of power on the right mouse button, that I will use it for those moments like the elite. I stun them and then I go and destroy them. Or when I'm actually doing things like I'm having a shield or I'm having a cooldown reduction shrine, I can really spam it. That I use a lot of the shield glaze that you can see here. So a bit of thinking here depending on the situation. Then the left mouse button is basically the Feast of Heaven. We can see a lot of electricity connecting to each other. So that one is important because when I have that, you manage to keep the buff of 3 on. You can't buff your Heaven's Fury. So there are 3 stacks of it that will buff the Heaven's Fury. And also, as you hit with the Feast of Heaven, you get a 50 stacks of kind of damage reduction. You can see on the hotbar there. And so that would basically the second icon of the hotbar, by the way, is the 50 stack of the Feast of Heaven, and that will give you 50% of damage reduction. The second last icon, by the way, is from the Stone Gauntlet. When you get hit 5 times, I think each time you get hit you get damage reduction as well. So you need to keep all this a cooldown on and count all these things. Gorgot of Swiftness, which is the gem that I use, will help me with the dodge. That was important, the dodge, but the more so is also the I believe 15% of the cooldown reduction, which is very helpful for this entire build. So yes, it's a little bit of looking through the hotbar, not tremendously, but there are some that you need to really pay attention to. Keep popping the champion, pop the Valor and the as you can. I mean, that one probably is very useful. Pop the Iron Skin as you can as well. If you got a lot of mobs to hit, then it's good to maintain that. Shield Glaze if you need to dispatch some character quite fast, and yeah, you get it. So Hope you enjoyed this video, and as promised, I'll do a more detailed deep dive on the on the guide. On this build that I'm using, on the kind of like gear that I'm using as well. And stay tuned for that, and enjoy your season. 19 is one of the most fun season I've played, and this one I beat my personal record, so now it's 4 minutes 26 seconds, which is rather good. As a farming or GR100, you get quite a lot of like loot, quite a lot of like Paragon points, XP for Paragon point in this season, and all in all, it's very good fun. So yep, and I'll talk to you again next time. Goodbye.